Hi yogis! Brooke Blankenship here with Yogi Squad, bringing you our very first episode of Prose. Each week we will be highlighting the pose of the week and giving you a quick tutorial with some tips and tricks on how to access the pose a little bit deeper and better than before. So, the pose of the week is the most famous pose in all of yoga, downward facing dog. Adho, mukha, savasana. So, in order to teach you to do downward facing dog properly, I want you to first bring your hands out in front of you really wide. So this is most of your base in downward facing dog. You need your hands really wide and strong. We're going to be pressing down through not only the fingertips, but also through the thumb and the whole base of the hand, okay? That takes a lot of the pressure off of our wrists and also creates a nice shoulder stretch for us too when we're in the position. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Coming into tabletop position on your mat. Hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. First thing we're going to do is move our hands forward one hand's width, okay? So just lifting up your hand and placing it one hand width in front of the shoulder. So the one hand width away from where it was before. Pressing down through the fingertips, putting a micro bend in those elbows, tuck the toes under in the back, and then send the hips up towards the sky. So at first, I want you to keep that micro bend in your elbows and keep a bend in your knees. Work on lengthening the tailbone towards the ceiling and lengthening the spine, creating some traction and space. Allow the head and neck to be heavy and just focus on lengthening that spine, stretching through the shoulders and the armpits. Okay, so from here we can practice paddling out our feet, alternating opposite heels towards the mat, creating a really intense stretch that starts from the bottom of the heel and goes all the way up the back of the leg through the calf, into the hamstring, into the glute, and connecting to the lower back. So stretching and bending and finding some balance in that pose by just bending the legs and sending that weight back towards the hips. So that's walking the dog. Three-legged dog. Three-legged dog, we're gonna bring our foot up and stick it straight out and back. Toes down towards the ground, hips square with the torso, okay? So this is three-legged dog. We're holding up our leg. And a lot of times you hear teachers say, bend the knee and stack the hips. Well, what does that mean? Bending the knee, you're bending the knee like you're going to kick the heel towards the bottom. Stacking the hips, we're opening up. So we're creating a side stretch and bringing that foot around almost towards the outside of the hip. Okay? So bending the knees, stacking the hip, coming open, maybe even taking the gaze underneath of the armpit, and then coming back into downward facing dog. So the last variation of downward dog that I'm going to show you today is called flip dog, and this is one of everybody's favorites. So flip dog, we're going to take our foot and come into three-legged dog. Then we're going to bend the knee, stack the hip open. As we stack the hip open, that heel keeps going, and maybe making it down to the floor. As we do, our opposite hand comes up, and we stretch up and over. Lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. It's not only a pretty pose, but it feels really good too. Slowly rocking back over, bringing your hands back into a neutral downward facing dog. And there you have it. Downward facing dog.